Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suhail and I make book videos here on YouTube. If you guys like reading, if you guys like book recommendations, make sure you subscribe before you leave and like this video if you like tier ranking, because I'm planning on doing in part 2. I see the tropes that have been listed and I can already tell that some of them are missing, so I will do a part 2, of course, but this is the one that already came, pre-made, and for the next one I'll just make my own. Before we get started, I do want to say, if you subscribe to me from any BTS related video, I will be reacting to Take Two and Suga's new song with Halsey, like the one for the Diablo video game. I cannot wait because I love Lilith, the original from Halsey. I love Halsey as well. So obviously I cannot wait to see if it's gonna be like the same one or like completely different. You know what I mean? So yeah, those videos are gonna be up either Saturday or Sunday. I still don't know what type of internet I'm gonna be dealing with in Puerto Rico, so I don't know how fast I'm gonna be able to upload, but I will try to upload obviously as soon as possible, specifically this weekend. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned for that. And yeah, let's get right into it. Make sure you subscribe before you leave and like this video if you like to hear ranking videos. Alright, so the first one will be love triangle, and I feel like a lot of people hate love triangles. I personally don't mind it. I do feel like it has to be done right. I like when love triangles are kind of obvious, you know what I mean? Like you see where they're going. I like the love triangle because I love to see the one that's gonna stay with her get jealous, and I love like seeing that reaction. If there's something I learned from when I filmed this last week, was that I happen to love forbidden love. Like anything forbidden, yes. So whenever like we have a love triangle and like let's say the main character is getting too close to the other guy and the one that's gonna win sees it, like that reaction, I love it. I love it. So it has to be done right. I do not think that love triangles like in this one, I don't think this is a good love triangle, okay? I don't think it is. Fake dating, I actually find that God tier. God tier. Like, all you have to tell me is fake date, and I'm like, yes, I want to read this book. I said this in my Yours Truly vlog, which I will link up in the cards. There's just something about fake dating that, like, okay, when they are together faking it, it's like those little moments where they like grab each other's hands or like they peck each other or like something that is like a little bit more than just friends, where they're like doing it and like you can tell that they're realizing that they're not faking it. I love that. I love that. I'm sorry. I love that so much. Obsessed. Sports romance, I will put that in I don't care for it, because I don't care for it. It's not something that will make me grab a book, and it's not something that's gonna make me avoid a book. It's just, if it's there, cool. If it's not, whatever. I don't really care. I feel like sports romance most of the time are based in high school or college, mainly college, and I have said this before on my channel, I am trying to avoid reading like college romance. It's just not the life stage I'm in. I will rather read about people that have gone through divorce and then found love again, or like people that were together when they were younger and then they found each other later in life, or like, you know what I mean, like more like older people. I'm not saying that college romance is bad. It's just not something I'm into anymore. You know what I mean? And I actually went from reading it to avoiding it. The only sports romance or college romance that I will be reading that I know is college and I'm still gonna be reading is the rest of the series for the icebreaker ones. I want to know what happens with them, but other than that, I don't think I'm gonna read any of them. Single parent. So single parent has to be done right. I feel like I love a single parent story. It's like one of my favorites, but I don't like when the kid is a main character in the story, or if it's like a big part of the story. I don't like it. I feel like most of the time when people write about kids, they don't do it right. They don't do it right. I feel like I have, children, and I know how they act. I know how they act when they're 8 years old. I know how they act when they're like 4, when they're 3, when they're 6, you know what I mean? So when you say that a kid has or is 4 years old and they're out here talking like an 8-year-old, I'm gonna notice. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how 4-year-olds talk. And that bothers me. That bothers me. Like, just don't do it. Just don't do it. If you're not going to do it right, don't do it. So yeah, it has to be done right. And again, I love, especially if it's like a dad with a girl and then they meet another person, or even like a boy. It doesn't have to be a girl. But like, if it's a single dad, yes, I love that. Accidental pregnancy, avoid. I'm gonna say avoid, because I feel like maybe I don't feel this way in person, like with real life accidental pregnancies, but I do feel like in a book it feels forced. It feels like you are together because of the pregnancy. If you guys were already together and then you accidentally got pregnant, then that's a different story. But if you guys were only like a one night stand and then you didn't talk to each other at all after that, and then a month later or 2 weeks later you find out you're pregnant, and then no. Bully romance. Avoid. Ugh. Okay, it has to be done right. But like at the same time, I feel like if somebody is not telling me this book is amazing, regardless of the bully romance, I will not be into it. Like, I think Penelope Douglas does have a story, and I think it's like a lesbian story where she is a bully, and people say that that is a really good bully romance. That one I'm willing to try because people are telling me that it is a good. But if I would have gone off of the fact that it's a bully romance without hearing anyone's opinions, I would have automatically avoided. Like, I just don't. What? Why? If somebody's bullying me, even if it's because they have a crush on me and they're in denial, I will never give you a chance. So, no. Okay, brother's best friend. I actually love that one. It's not God tier for me, but I actually really, really enjoy it, especially like when we're waiting for the brother to find out. What is he gonna say? How is he gonna react? I wanna know everything. I love it. Again, forbidden love is my thing. I love it. Friends with benefits to lovers. I would say I love it. It's okay. It's good. Like, if I see that like a story has this as a trope, then I think I will be inclined to read it, but it's not like I wouldn't go out of my way to read it. You know what I mean? Workplace romance. That one has to be done right. I feel like obviously it can be a little bit icky if it's like a boss, like a superior with like a regular employee. It can be a little bit off-putting, but at the same time, it just depends. It depends. So again, it has to be done right. If it's two co-workers, then yeah, you know what I mean? But I don't know. It depends, because I feel like a lot of the times, like, billionaire stories are like the billionaire with like his assistant or like that kind of like situation. And that can be a little bit problematic. But at the same time, I feel like if they're both adults, or like, it also depends on what he does before they get together. Like, how do they get to, you know what I mean? It just depends on how they go from like co-workers to in a relationship, you know? Enemies to lovers, that is God tier 100%. Actually, I'm gonna put that before fake dating, because that is my favorite trope of all time. Enemies to lovers, especially villains, like fantasy villains. Like, if it involves an enemy that like is willing to kill you and they end up falling for you, that is probably like the best trope ever. At least for me. Okay, I love it. I love it. Teacher student, I'm gonna put avoid, but we do have books like My Dark Vanessa where I actually will go for it. So it has to be a fiction book. It has to be like a literary fiction. It should be teaching me something. It should be bringing awareness to the issue that it is teacher-student relationships. If it is a romance, teacher-student, automatically avoid. Strangers to lovers. Isn't that how it is all the time? So yeah, love. Like, obviously I don't go out of my way to read it. I feel like 90% of romance books are strangers to lovers, so I mean, there's not much to say about that. Childhood friends to lovers. I don't care for it. I feel like who you were as a child is completely different to who you are as an adult. I feel like you either have to have some sort of trauma, or like, not necessarily trauma either. Like, it doesn't have to be something negative, but you guys have to have something in common that like is important to both of you, that like you want your partner to understand, and they will never understand because they didn't go through it with you. So like, maybe that one person, you know what I mean? I can see how that might be a big deal. But if it's just regular childhood friends to lovers, like you spend every summer together and you had a crush on each other, or like you kissed or something like that, then that's not, to me, that's personally not something I will go out of my way to read. Slow burn, God tier. And it has to be done right. I know I need to put that in the, where should I put it? Okay, when it's done right, it's God tier. You know what I mean? And I feel like 90% of the books do it right, so I'm gonna keep it in God tier. But it does have to be right. But it does have to be done right. What the heck was I saying? Like, this is too slow for me. I did not enjoy this at all, like towards the end. This was a 5 stars for me until the 75%, and then after that I just got frustrated. I do have a vlog where I read this, and the vlog has like 3 other books, but this is the only one that I did spoilers for. So if you guys don't like spoilers, you guys have been warned, but in the spoilers you're gonna know why I didn't love this one. So yeah, I feel like slow burn has to be done right. I want something to happen in every single chapter so that I am angsty and ready for it by the end. But if you're giving me them finally getting together or doing something about their feelings or admitting their feelings like in the last 10% of the book, I don't want it. That's too slow. That's too slow. I feel like 75% should be the right mark for you to start moving things. You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's go. Let's, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it has to be done right. But when it's done right, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Friends to enemies to lovers. I don't care for it. I can't even think of a single book that qualifies as that. I'm going to go ahead and do some Google search because, okay, Punk 57. Yeah, I did not love that. So actually the only one that I have read is Punk 57. And if that's the case, I don't care for it. So yeah, I just... Like, what do you mean? No. Age gap. It has to be done right. It has to be done right. I feel like good examples of where it was done right is Penelope Douglas' Birthday Girl. That was amazing. That was amazing. The first book of this series, Part of Your World, is a 37-year-old woman, and I think he's 28. So it's not just age gap, but the girl or the woman is older than him. So yeah, I love that. I love age gaps. Now, where's the other one? This one? This age gap? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's a no for me. It's a no for me. Like, she's 20 something and he's like 65, 66, something. No. One of Us is famous. I actually really like that. I feel like the only way you can ruin that is if the famous person is like stuck up and like cocky and all that. But if it's like one of like those stuck up people that are like stuck up to everyone except for the person they're into, then yeah, they can be stuck up. But if they're like stuck up, like I think it was called Birds of California, that book, I feel like he was just too full of himself. Like, he knew he was, you know, a celebrity, and you cannot tell him otherwise, clearly, because he was annoying. I hated that. I still like enjoy the story, but I feel like that he was so annoying that I had to take a few stars off because of that. Like, what are you doing? I hate everyone in the world but you. I love that. God tier. 100%. 100%. I love that. I feel like, okay, it can be grumpy. So sometimes grumpy can be a little bit much, like in Things We Never Get Over. Knox was a little bit much. So yeah, it has to be done right. But when it's done right, which is 90% of the time, it's God tier. 100%. Right person, not enough time. This one, when I did the first time I recorded this video, I didn't know what that meant. But I feel like A Walk to Remember, you know, is a good example of that. And basically people who are dying. So you're like, you know, soulmates, but one person is dying, so you don't have enough time. So obviously that's God tier because I like crying. Honestly, like if a book is gonna make me cry, it's probably gonna be automatically a God tier. So Friends to Lovers. I love that. I'm not like, I don't really love Friends to Lovers. I like it. It's just not like, the only good thing about Friends to Lovers is when one of them is noticing that they have feelings for them and they don't want to say it because they don't want to ruin the friendship. I feel like that is the best part of it. But then besides from that, it's just a regular romance, you know. I just don't, it's not someone I go out of my way to read, you know what I mean? Good Boy, Bad Girl. I don't really care for it. Bad Boy, let's do Bad Boy, Good Girl. Same thing. Forced Proximity, God tier. God tier. And like with that, let's go with Only One Bed because I consider that forced proximity. I love forced proximity. I love it. Like the Unhoneymooners, anything like in this book as well, when I was reading that they got stuck in that room the whole night, I thought something was gonna happen again. Slow burn. Mafia romance. This one has to be done right. Like, okay, I am down for mafia romance, but like if you're gonna be doing something illegal, it better be like not murder. Like if the person is murdering people, then I automatically don't want to be with him. But if what you're doing illegally is like, I don't know, bringing in weapons into the country or like transferring drugs or something like that, it's still bad, obviously. But I can look past it in a book versus like if you're killing someone, like what is wrong with you? You know, I don't know. I just feel like it has to be done right. I cannot. And like sometimes like in mafia romance too, like the guys are very, very sexist, very misogynist, very like just gross. So I don't like that. If it's like that, then I don't like that. Grumpy Sunshine is love. I feel like actually that's kind of like I hate everyone in the world but you. So I'm gonna put it up there because to me, honestly, isn't it the same thing? You know what I mean? Isn't it the same thing? Like, the grumpy doesn't have to be grumpy towards everyone else, like the person that hates everyone in the world but you. But the way they act is a little bit, I hate everyone in the world but you know what I mean? And the sunshine, I feel like the sun, okay, you know what? I'm gonna put this in the love because I feel like sometimes sunshine, like main characters, are a little bit much for me. Bodyguard romance, God tier. Again, Forbidden Romance, I'm down. Ana Huang, Twisted Games, if you guys have not read that, highly recommend. Highly recommend. I am obsessed. Right Person, Wrong Time. What is this? Okay, so I have a few of them here that I have actually read. I have read a lot in this list. We have Daisy Jones and the Six. I rated that 5 stars. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, 5 stars. It Ends With Us. I gave that one 4 stars. Normal People, 3 stars. One Day in December, 5 stars. November 9th, 2 stars. Love and Other Words, 4 stars. Song of Achilles, 3 stars. Regretting You, 3 stars. People We Meet on Vacation, 2 stars. So I have a big mixture of reviews. I have anywhere between 3 to 5 stars. Actually, I rarely rate anything 2 stars or 1 stars. I'd rather not give a book any ratings if I'm gonna be rating it that, unless I actually hate it. So I'm gonna put that in I don't care for it because I don't go out of my way to read anything that's like right person, wrong time. You know what I mean? It just happens to be in a lot of the books that I read. And the only thing that I like about this trope is the fact that like it's gonna make me cry, probably. That's it. That's all I like about it. Everything else is annoying. So yeah, it's just don't care for it. Love at First Sight, I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like, it's unrealistic. I don't know, maybe because I'm not a physical person, I don't fall in love with people based on their appearance. I'm more of a personality type of person. I need to be, you know, in sync with this person. I don't care if it's a good looking person or an ugly person, as long as we have chemistry and we have that connection. Like, that's what matters to me. And we have the same values, the same like political views and stuff like that. So I just don't like when romance books are unrealistic. And I feel like Love at First Sight can be pretty unrealistic. So yeah, that is it for this video. If you guys have different opinions, I want to know everything. I know that we're all very different, we all have different tastes, and this can look completely different to everyone, obviously. So if you guys do have different opinions, make sure you leave them down below in the comment section. And yeah, like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, make sure you check out my BTS videos this weekend, and I will see you in my next one.